Probably as the founder, my role has the vision to make sure that everyone within the company knows that we're going into something big. I mean, we don't pay like any of the big companies. We don't have like super beautiful offices. We don't have a lot of the toys that other companies may have, but we still need to attract an amazing talent. And to do so, you have to make sure that they have the confidence that they're in something big from the beginning, so they have the opportunity to influence. And this kind of dreaming big mentality should keep living within the employees the entire time. They can say, hey, okay, it's not going well. It's not going in like gonna be a huge company and I'm gonna work somewhere else and I'm gonna get more money. So they have to always believe we're building something big. And I feel like that's the way things are now with Go Out. Everyone believes that we're creating this amazing company. We're gonna be the biggest company in our vertical and we're gonna change the way the industry works. Otherwise, no one would actually be here.
Welcome to the Haggai podcast. Buckle up. This episode is brought to you by Better Weight for Life, transformational weight loss aid, led by U.S. board-certified physicians, providing access to GLP-1 medications like Wegovy and Zepbound that are proven to help you lose weight and keep it off. This episode is brought to you by CardsBiz, a business card too good to give away.
Hello, Yotam.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. To see that beautiful smile on the screen is already great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Yotam,
having me.
my pleasure. We already talked in the past, and I was really impressed by your attitude and kind of what you're doing. But how about we start with that? The people that don't know Yotam, like, who is Yotam?
So, Yotam, I'm 30 years old, born and raised in Jerusalem, Israel. I've spent most of my last 10 years in Tel Aviv. And yeah, I'm a co-founder and CEO of Go Out.
And what is that? What is Go Out? What is that?
Yeah, so Go Out is an operating system for sports teams and event organizers. We actually allow all of those that I've just mentioned to accept online and in-person payments, allowing them to get all of those payments. And we actually get them with an accessible, enriched data that is suitable just for them, allowing them to actually manage all of their day-to-day and financial operations all in one platform instead of just throwing their data to be scattered across 10 different platforms.
Why is that important?
Wow, it's very important. I mean, we actually started a company because we realized that most of the sports teams and most of the big music organizations across the world are actually using 10 different platforms to manage their day-to-day operations. Well, this may sound like, okay, it's not too much. We all use a bunch of different platforms on our day-to-day, but those type of organizations are usually not as tech savvy as we may be. So it's very hard for them and it's causing them to lose so much money. I mean, just think of that. A sport team is usually using a ticketing company and then an online payment provider, a different provider for their in-person. If they're using any or they're competing in any international competition, then they might use an international payment provider as well. And then Shopify, MailChimp, Salesforce, and a bunch of so many different platforms. And none of it have native connection to each other and native integrations. So what most sports team does, at least the one who has the capital to do so, they're actually reaching out to software companies and asking them, hey, why don't you create custom integrations and custom dashboards just for me? And that way it will all make sense. The issue is it costs money, as you may have guessed. It costs a lot of money and it creates a huge overhead in which those type of organizations can handle. I mean, in a moment, they become software companies, and that's not what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be sports teams.
And is that true? Because when we say sport teams, right, that can be like, I don't know, where like people have probably different pictures in the head. That can be a big budget, multi-billion-dollar sports team, and it can be, I don't know, like I'm trying to find like I don't want it to. I'm afraid to insult somebody, but like that's a small town,
like your local team,
without naming names, but like a small town. So where do you? I mean, maybe from your experience, can you like teach us a bit about this ecosystem you operate in? And where do you fall in that ecosystem?
Sure. So as you've mentioned, and you're very right about it, there's various types of teams within those ecosystems. So there are the biggest teams in the world that we're all familiar with, obviously those type of organizations are usually act as an organization, as very similar to tech organizations, Real Madrid, the FC Barcelona, and those type of teams. But there are smaller organizations who usually don't have the capital and the resources to act like a big tech organization, and they're the one who suffer the most. I mean, even like some of the biggest names, again, no mentioning names, but some of the biggest teams from around the world, they were teams that we all adore and feel like, hey, those must be big organizations. So many people are working with it within those organizations. They have so much money because they just bought this player. Those are usually the ones who suffer the most. They have some money and they know how to operate in football or in basketball, but I have no idea how to deal with tech, how to deal with product, how to handle softwares. They have no idea how to do all of those, even if they have access to 10 different amazing platforms. They are amazing. Salesforce is great. Mailchimp is great. Hype is amazing. They have no idea how to make all that sync and how to make all of that work in their favor. They're pretty much lost. So those type of organizations, I mean, on a scale to 1 to 5, 5 are probably okay. They're managing because they're huge. 4 and 3 are the one who suffer the most.
Mm-hmm.
But the lower tiers are actually the one who's more creative. And then they found that may work for them, but they have less actual needs or challenges than the actual bigger teams.
And where do you fit in this? So between this spectrum of different groups, where do you fit the most?
So we swim best on tier 2 to tier 4. That means we're not trying to be the go-to solution of the biggest teams around the world, but we don't want to provide the solution. I mean, we are providing it, but it's not like we're targeting like the very, very, very small community club that we all love. I mean, I'm a fan of a very small team, but that's not kind of what we're doing. But what is interesting is we've built a platform for like level 2, tier 2, and we found out that many other smaller teams have started using it on their own. One of the best things that we do and people love is actually we made the process of using Go Out so easy that you don't have to talk to sales. You don't have to get in touch with us in any way. You just hop into the platform, you answer some questions, and you create your account. In a matter of minutes, you're ready to go and you're ready to accept payments. You're ready to start building your fan audience and your fan base and connect to all of your other um, tech that you may be using. So a lot of teams are actually using Go Out without us having to reach out to them and ask them to work with us.
So before we kind of move into the details, and I think there's a lot of questions that have come up here. Why didn't you tell people like where are you on the journey? Where's your company at? Like a little about your market penetration, success stories, so just people understand what point of your development you're at.
So we started 3.5 years ago. We started very small in Israel as a product who's just has been very oriented to music. And then we kind of grew very fast on our own. So we started bootstrapping completely, no resources, nothing. I mean, um, and the product started catching fire. It was very catchy to other organizers, and music organizers from Israel loved it. And very fast we began to grow, and we've grown so much that we actually had to hire a lot of other people just to support that growth. We haven't been prepared whatsoever. And today we're actually we work in more than 14 countries by now. We work with sports teams from all over the world and music festivals from all over the world, from Greece to other countries in the Middle East, United States, Mexico, Canada, and all that. And we've been actually still been bootstrapping to this day. I mean, we raised some funds. We raised less than $2 million from strategic investors, you may say, and we love them. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So we'll currently put a lot of efforts into going into new markets and to establishing ourselves as the go-to platform within the markets that we're already in.
All around sports team.
Sports and music. So we kind
Mhm.
of shifted a bit into sports in terms of product in the past 2 years, but it's both sports and music. We've been doing a lot of music, especially electronic music within a lot of the countries that we've been working with. So that's also something that we do.
And so that's an interesting combination. Electronic music on that one end, and the sports on the other end. So like, does that work? Is there a lot more things similar, or was a lot more things different in those two kind of markets?
So that's a good question. I mean, first of all, it works amazing. We found
You're
a lot of
smiling, so you're
similarity.
smiling.
Yeah. We found out there's a lot of similarity in terms of the fan base of both verticals. A lot of people who go to sports teams and go to football games or basketball games are also going to the party the next day or after a game. Or it's actually has been very exciting. I mean, when we went into sports in Israel at first, everyone say, "Hey, this is the platform where I buy tickets to parties from." So it was very fun. People was used to buying tickets using go out to parties and nightlife festivals and all of that. And then they started seeing their favorite team selling tickets with us also. So that was a very exciting move.
And abroad?
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's actually the same thing. Yeah. So we've been actually working in Greece with a bunch of both football clubs and electronic music. And in Greece, especially, it's so mixed. I mean, everyone are fans of a specific team, and the rivalries are so bad. So it's been pretty much funny. To every meeting we're going with music organizers from Greece, we first ask them, so what team are you a fan of? It ignites like this crazy conversation. So it all kind of works together in a perfect way.
Interesting. So let's go back. I mean, again, this is a very, I, I can't say niche because it's a huge market in many ways, but it's like it's a very particular market. Like, from all the possible things like in the world between cybersecurity, AI, e-commerce, and things like that, how did you get to this?
I guess it's all about following your passion. I started with technology at the age of 15. So that's when I started my first company, created an add-on that adds the Israel League to NBA 2K and FIFA. So I was always around both technology and sports in a way. And I did that for for a couple of years.
Explain.
It was,
Not everybody might understand what you did because I know
yeah.
the story
So
and it made me smile. So tell that story and also tell the scope you managed to do that as a young as a
Okay, so I was a huge geek of video games, a huge geek, and I grew up in Jerusalem. I grew up an Paul Jerusalem fan, so I always fantasized about playing NBA 2K online with a Paul, and I wanted to play with my own team. I wanted to experience the experience I've experienced in real life, and I wanted to combine those worlds. And obviously, both NBA 2K and FIFA, the game that includes the football team, didn't have the Israeli league within it. So one night it was me and my best friend. We were playing, and then we were so bummed that there's a poison in the game. And we said, why don't we just create it? Yeah. And at first it was, how? How can we possibly create it? Because we had no idea how to do it. I mean, we didn't know how to code. We didn't know how to design. We didn't know nothing. So we had to teach ourselves how to code and how to access a bunch of different files. And then once we figured out we can actually add more teams to the game, we found out that it's not enough. We had to put in some media files as well. We had to put in the team logos and team uniforms and the color of the team and all of that. And then we found out that the players have to look like they look in real life. Otherwise, it's not fun. So those faces are 3D models. So you have to design 3D models as well. And it's been crazy. So we started all of that. The first year it was really bad, but we had a lot of users. I won't say how
what's a
many
lot?
to
What's
be
a lot?
exact, but it's a few hundred thousands.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. And then the second year we were better at it. So we knew better how to code and how to design those things. And it was a huge success. It was already a company. I mean, we had a big team going on, and we worked so hard. A crazy experience because all of the people that was within the team were teenagers, most of us. I mean, so around 18, like that was like the oldest. So it was a lot of fun. And then at the age of 18, a friend of mine say, "Hey, you should stop with all of that gaming nonsense and just start promoting events." I mean, he used to be a promoter for a nightclub, which was like 2 hours drive from Jerusalem. And I said yes for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I said yes. And I had so much fun for like 3 years. I did that. Started as a promoter, then he promoted me to be a team leader. And after that, I started hosting my own events and my own concerts and started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's actually when I first encountered all of those issues. I mean, I was really the non-tech savvy guy within a group of people who was hosting those events. And I always knew that I'm gonna do something that is related to technology. I always knew. I feel like probably I was the only 8 years old who dreamed of having a startup. I don't know. That's at least how I felt.
Yeah.
That was my dream from very early age. When I started facing those issues, I just felt this is my opportunity to do something different and to create new technology in an industry which is very traditional and a lot of legacy technology going on. I mean, there's so many huge companies who are not focused on technologies. They've built their technology like 20 years ago. It's been working okay, but they haven't done anything new. And the issues just keep piling up and no one is doing that because, as you know, a lot of people are going into cyber and all of that,
Yeah.
which makes sense, but not a lot of people are going into those industries. And it felt like a blue ocean. And it felt like a real opportunity to both do what we love and what we have passion for, and also bring innovation to it and doing something different.
But the problem you described, it's big, right? I don't know if it's big. It's in the sense it's like many, many components, right? There's a UX element, there's a e-commerce element, there's emailing, meaning communications, communications. There's, I know, even things I probably can't think about. So how do you do it all, or how do you get good enough, at least, that you have a coherent product that's better than, hey, let me just try to build it myself in all those components?
So first, it's very hard. It's very hard and it takes time, especially when you bootstrap. I mean, when you are VC backed from day one, like
Yeah.
you raised money based on a deck, then it's a whole other story because on day one, you bring talent to the table, to the company that has the experience. They know how to do stuff. They know exactly where you should put attention on and what you should do and what you shouldn't. When you bootstrap, it's a whole other story. And I feel like probably the main reason that we did that we started the company and we went all in with that is the fact that we didn't know how hard it's going to be. If we knew how hard it's going to be and how many failures we're going to face, we probably would have never started the company to begin with. So we started small and we faced issues and then we fixed those. And we started to grow and we first faced more issues and then we fixed those. And then when we started to grow globally, we found out that other markets don't tolerate the same issues that we thought, hey, okay, we can drag onto that like for a couple more months or for one more year. We shouldn't fix that ASAP. Like US customers don't tolerate bad UX or any issues at all.
At
So
all.
you can have those. And so you face a lot of issues along the way and you learn by making mistakes. As you become more and more mature, both as a company and then in the talent that within the company, you started to thinking of ahead and planning ahead better, and you're getting better on planning, on creating a product and not just fixing issues as you go. Um, and you bring in more talented persons who has the experience and has the path and like the longevity to think of a product that is not going to be good like for the next 2 months or for the next 6 months, but for the next 4 years.
Oh, yes. I have a few follow-up questions because I think you touched some principal things. One of it, like, so you keep coming to the fact that you're bootstrapped, right? And all of the well, mostly the disadvantages. Maybe there's also advantages of that. Maybe we'll dive in. Like, why are you mostly bootstrapped, right? For the most part, you're bootstrapped. And maybe, like, again, from your perspective, what's the advantages and disadvantages of being bootstrapped? Or
The
close to.
disadvantages are clear. You don't have a lot of resources. So you have to be so calculated around everything. You're always worrying about the money running out, and every move you take is essentially a risk. So you're taking a lot of risks.
Even
Some
though,
of
and this
them.
is actually, I had this in a different different podcast interview is that when you don't have a lot of money, you make cheap mistakes, and when you have money, you make expensive mistakes. So it's like,
That's also probably right. Right. But sometimes even the small amounts can be very significant
yeah,
to a small company. So it's an issue. The advantages are the following. So first of all, you don't have anyone on your board telling you what to do. So you're basically on your own. You're on your own in a good way. You have the freedom to make mistakes, to change direction, to pivot. You have your freedom to take it slow for the next 2 weeks or for the next month, and then to accelerate when you feel like it's the right time. And you have the freedom to say, hey, we're not going into the US, or we're not doing that. We're going into the UK and we're doing something completely different. And a lot of the time, your gut is right. Your gut, you've created this company, you know the industry, you talk to customers, you talk to the team. You should follow your gut. And sometimes it's not a possibility when you have so many people on the board and they have veto rights and they have other mechanisms that make you follow their wishes. So that's one of the advantages. And the second one is it makes you more responsible for the company. And that's equal you being a better founder and you being a better company at the end. I mean, because you face so many failures and because you're in constant danger, you have to be so good at what you're doing, both to survive, but also to thrive and to expand. I mean, you have to take so many good mistakes alongside to all of the bad ones that you're taking. You have to basically take more good decisions than bad ones, obviously. But I mean, you can afford to make big mistakes.
yeah.
You just can't. And once you know that you can make crucial mistakes because you don't have the safety net, then it makes you better. You have to be better in order to survive.
So you are clearly comfortable with that. But early on, why didn't you just go and try to take your presentation and raise money, a lot of money in presentation?
I feel like it took us time to figure out exactly what we want to be because we started small and we started for music. And then as we grew, we started seeing the full potential of things. And it was us kind of being teenagers. And then we grew into being more mature, into knowing exactly what we want, to know exactly how we want to get it, and exactly how big the opportunity is, and then acting accordingly. So it probably wasn't the right time for us, and also for investors, maybe.
Yeah.
But we definitely feel comfortable because we feel today, and we just had this conversation like 2 weeks ago. It's so funny. We said that if we had the funds early on, we probably would have generated less money than what we generated today because we would have burned all the money on stupid things. And we would have probably taken it to the wrong direction just to go with what the investors want to see and what they want to do, and probably didn't have enough backbone in order to stand our own. So we feel like it's definitely for the best.
Interesting. I can tell you again, it's something from my personal experience as somebody who did raise money in one of the ventures. Like, and I laughed. Because you can, and at the time you think it's the right thing, you burn the money. Sorry, you invest the money, and then later you realize you burned it because it wasn't effective. It's like that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Another thing, you did allude to difficult moments in this journey. Like, what is an example or two that you think that was a punch in the gut?
There were so many. First of all, one of probably the hardest moments was we picked so bad. I mean, we had so many visitors going into our platform and so many organizers hosting their events on Go Out, and we crashed, and we had like this crazy long downtime. I'm not sure if you remember like the downtime of WhatsApp like a few years ago.
Yeah.
They had like that's 36 hours of downtime or something similar to that.
And the
It was
world went crazy.
exactly. So we had probably like a 6 hour downtime in the most important days, like in the year for music at first, was around Halloween. And we were down on the most crucial day for organizers for like 6 hours. And everyone is going crazy. In competition is talking trash about us. Organizers are going nuts because they can't access the platforms and they cancel their tickets and they can't take action. And it's so bad. I mean, people are going into the platform and they're seeing like this error message, which is basically bad, obviously bad. And it felt like the longest 6 hours of my life. It was crazy. It was crazy. And every time we thought, okay, hey, the platform is now back on, it crashed again in like 2 minutes. So it was crazy. And this definitely scarred us for like the next 2 years. After that, we couldn't sleep for another holiday.
Yeah. And so what is like the lessons learned for that? What did you take away?
So that's probably the product of lack of experience that was, and the result was bad planning. We didn't plan the product from day one to being so scalable. We didn't thought that we're gonna reach those type of demands so fast. So at first we just started building the product and we need to do it fast. We need to move fast. We need to add more features now because we have this new customer who wants it. And we have the opportunity to close another customer who is amazing and is going to bring in so much money and is going to open up so much doors. But in order to close him, we need to have this feature. We don't have a lot of people. At first, we have 2 people who's writing code. So we need to do it fast. We don't have to do it super good, but we just have to do it. It just has to be in the platform. It doesn't have to work perfectly. So we didn't plan the product to be to support so much traffic in the same time at first. And that really hit us. And then it took us another year. We rebuilt everything from scratch. So we've rebuilt our security levels. We rebuilt our firewalls. We rebuilt our database, our front end, our back ends, everything. So we wanted to be sure that it's never going to happen again. And we started planning more things because of that. So we started putting more important dates. We have like this calendar that is saved only for important dates. And we have like those routine things in anyone who needs to be part of those meetings, just to be aware at least a few months ahead of everything major. If there's a holiday coming up, we know about it 6 months before that and we plan towards it. Even if we're very sure that our platform is now good, we want to make sure that has been no changes, that we took all of the safety measures that we can take. If we onboard a new client and it's a major one, then it's all hands meeting. Everyone who have a touch point with the customer, whether it's me or the COO of the company or the CTO or the one who's actually managing this account, we're going to have a discovery meeting and we're going to make sure that we can support their traffic and their traction in the best way possible in the near and the fast future. So we've learned a lot of lessons because of that. That actually made us a very better company.
Learning through pain. Sometimes for certain lessons, you can only learn through pain.
Exactly. Exactly.
And also, I don't know if it makes you feel better, but I can tell you there's a lot of startups that actually suffer from the other problem. They worry so much about the scalability of the technology, especially for when there's key technology people from big companies, but it's not selling, right? It's not the right product. So it's ready from they put a lot of effort and money to make sure it's millions of users a day and things like that, but it's not the right product, right?
Yeah, I know.
So it's like it's also like there's always this tension.
I don't think this is the right approach. I feel like this is a very thin line to try and jungle in between. But our approach, we've always been selling more than what we think we can handle.
Yeah.
And we very much like this approach. We like to keep pushing ourselves to the limits. I mean, it's not easy and it takes a lot out of our product and R&D team, but they make amazing job and they adjust. And I feel like this is one of our strengths. As you've mentioned, if we'll create an amazing product and it's so scalable, we can support FC Barcelona 2 million times, but no one is using it and we did nothing.
Yeah.
We want to build a product that people are using so much because they love it so much that it's going to make our platform crash.
Yes.
Obviously, we'll do everything in our power to make it not crash, but that's how we're approaching sales.
And I have to agree. I mean, it took me time to get to that, to understand that. But in a way, it's horrible when it happens, right? You said the 6 longest hours in your life,
Yeah.
but it's a better problem than silence. It's better problem than something beautiful that nobody touches. Right? It's like something.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
What about like, did you have a challenge to build the trust back after those 6 hours?
Well, I feel like we got lucky on that. I mean, a lot of organizers, almost all of them, understood what we were going through. They were, hey, it wasn't nice, but it's okay. I mean, it was actually better than we thought it's going to be. We thought it's going to be way harder to just bring all of that back together and bring the hype back on. But it probably created more hype than what we thought it's. I mean, it created a lot of hype because it was so the demand was so high that it was actually created more of an exclusive illusion to that to go out. We did have to
Like
put in a lot of work.
any press is good press kind of thing?
Probably. But I feel like you can only experience that once. I mean, you can't have another downtown like that ever again in order to actually keep the faith of the users and the faith of the organizers and their trust in the platform. So it's okay when it happens once, as long as you're actually bringing good value to the table, but it can happen. It can't happen again. So that's kind of what's been guided us from that moment.
Let me ask you a bit about your role as a founder. So, how do you define your role? What hats do you wear? What's your responsibility as the founder?
So I feel like that's a tricky question because there's my role as a founder and then my role as CEO. Probably as the founder, my role is more to has the vision to know that we're going somewhere big, to make sure that everyone within the company knows that we're going into something big. I mean, we don't pay like any of the big companies. We don't have like super beautiful offices. We don't have a lot of the toys that other companies may have, but we still need to attract an amazing talent. And to do so, you have to make sure that they have the confidence that they're in something big and they're in something big from the beginning, so they have the opportunity to influence. And this kind of dreaming big mentality should keep living within the employees the entire time. Because even someone is already within the company and we have like those two bad months. Everyone have those. They can say, hey, okay, it's not going well. It's not going in like, it's not going to be a huge company. Then I'm going to work somewhere else and I'm going to get more money. So they have to always believe that we're building something big. And I feel like that's the way things are now with Go Out. Everyone believes that we're creating this amazing company. We're going to be the biggest company in our vertical, and we're going to change the way the industry work. Otherwise, no one would actually be here. That's first. That's my role as a founder. My role as CEO is probably a bit different than that. I have to make sure that we actually make this dream happen. And it takes more of smaller steps and less of romantic steps than my role as a founder. So you have to get your hands dirty. You have to create routines. You have to talk to customers. You have to talk to you have to make sales. That's I built the CEOs should make sales. And you have to keep your team always on their best mentality and best shape, and keep on learning from whatever it is that you're facing on a daily basis and being better the next day.
And what is the part that you find more compelling than the other,
Of
or
course,
easier?
the founder one.
Yeah.
The founder one is, to me, it's always more compelling because you can dream whatever you want.
Yeah.
It can be whatever you want in your dreams, but as CEO, it's like a day-to-day hustle, shorter intervals than the ones that you experience as a founder. As a founder, you get to say, hey, this has been a great year. But as a CEO, it has to be a good week in order for it to be a good month, in order for it to be a good quarter. And that's how you build a good year.
It's like, do you feel tension between those two roles?
That's a good question also. I feel like probably yes. I mean, you can't always go by sometimes you as a founder, you want to create amazing technology. You want your product to be so visionary. I mean, we have so many products that we want to roll out and I want to do because I feel like they're going to change the industry. But we have technical debt that we need to take care of. It's like sexy to talk about it, but we need to finish up renovating some parts of our database. We need it. We can't ignore it because otherwise we'll keep making the mistakes that we did before. But we also want to roll out those beautiful, amazing products that are going to change the industry. So sometimes as a CEO, you have to make sure that you're doing the stuff that you don't want to do today in order to keep your dream moving another day, the one after that.
You make me think there's I heard this other founder talk, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he said that he realized that after many years that he can bring his team a big change once a quarter. Because he said what happens, I have this vision as a founder, right? It's like, and it's good, I'm right, everything's fine, and this is going to improve everything by 20, 30, 50%, right? But while we're working, everything goes down, right? While we're working on the change, everything goes down. And what happened, so he said, like, he kept coming with great ideas. The system and the company was always operating a constraint, on the constraint of a change. So he said, like, he realized that he has to make one big change a quarter, and he would keep like hitting himself not to bring the big idea until they're done. Because he said, like, it's like, like the body, like, if you exercise, the body requires more resources. So you can't run a marathon, lift, power lift, swim, rock climb, and all the things, because it's like over time it requires different resources from the organism. It's like interesting. That made me think of that.
I mean, I totally agree. And also those type of, I mean, you as a founder, you always get like, you always think about how things can be and where you want it to be. And you have all of those big dreams and on where you imagine yourself in 10 years or in 5 years. And you have a lot of like, okay, I know what we need to do. I know this is going to be big. We need to go in this direction. But the team needs more consistency than that. And the team needs to actually be able to support long processes and longer intervals than what you may think that the team needs. So I'm not sure about once a quarter. We probably do it.
No, that's it for his business, but as a concept.
Yeah, but as a concept, I totally agree.
Yeah. And so, like, all things considered, I think there's many people who would listen to your story and they said in a few years, you made an impact, right? Like you still haven't conquered the world, but you're starting, right? You're starting. There's a very clear penetration in multiple markets. You are a brand name in your category, but like, I want to kind of break that down to two questions. One is like, when did you know you had something? Like clearly, like when were you, at what point did you clearly know that you had something? And then in retrospect, like what do you think was so important that made you successful at the stage you are right?
So, okay. Fact, probably the first one, we knew that we were onto something in just 1 month generated the first year, we generated more than all of the month before that. I mean, we just started
and what happened?
Money. So it's probably nothing specific. I mean, we work so hard to bring more customers into the product. And then a lot of them started saying yes. A lot of them started saying yes, and a lot of them started joining. And as I've mentioned, we've built the product in a way that everyone can onboard themselves. They go through a very short process. It's a thorough one, but it's also short and it's very easy. And it has this good UX to it. And a lot of organizers have joined without even reaching out to us. A lot of the ones that we talked to before, I've seen other organizers using it, and they just jump into the platform, created an account, and started their own thing. And this was crazy. I mean, to us, it was crazy because we have been frustrated probably at this point. And then just so much workers started getting into the platform on its own, which was crazy. And that was, first of all, we knew we did a good job in a sense that the product was so self-serviced. It was so self-serviced.
When did this start happening? Just so we have a timeline.
Probably 6 months after we launched.
Okay.
So
but that's like
2023.
3 years ago?
Yeah. That's 2.5 years ago. Yeah.
2.5 years.
2.5 years ago. And then we had another moment like that, like probably a year after that. And that, in that sense, we did more than tripled ourselves, like in a quarter. And it was crazy. We grew so fast, then it was crazy. At that point, we didn't really notice it. We only noticed it when looking back, but we were so into things and we were so into it. We were so addicted to this growth and we want more and more and more out of that. So we actually, looking back, we had 2 moments like those. So yeah.
And so what do you like? Is it the key feature? Is it a combination of features? Why was it so compelling? I mean, like again, what you're describing is like there's a lot of startups who would kill for, right? This experience. So like, what was it?
Probably It's probably what was we moved so fast because we listened to the market. Every new
Mhm.
customer we onboarded who had a suggestion that makes sense, we've added it, and we've added this feature like in days. So we wanted to roll out as fast as we can. Sometimes we even rolled out a customer requested feature in the same day that he requested it. And that was crazy. It was crazy for the customer to
Yeah.
think about it. And it was always also crazy to
That is a wow factor by itself. It's a wow
yeah.
factor.
So we were so addicted to making sure that organizers get the entire set of features that they need to operate their events on a go out that we were working at it like crazies, like crazy people. And it was so fulfilling, to be honest, because we felt like at each day, we have more features and more capabilities that bring us closer to getting into new markets and getting into new industries within the entertainment. So we just wanted to be so focused on what the market has to say. And we wanted to roll out super fast. To me, those are the main key things that made us grow so fast in those periods of times.
Is there something you would have done differently? Let's say if you travel back, travel back 2.5 years back. I mean,
Probably
beside
not.
like prepare for scale, which you talked about.
No,
Okay.
Probably not even that. Just to be honest, I feel like this experience has shaped us, and we learned so much out of that. And again, we rolled out features so fast that obviously they weren't planned to perfection.
Mhm.
So that's what made us grow in such I feel like after all, it was worth it. I wouldn't have changed anything. We had no other way of learning beside failing. And we failed by succeeding too much in a sense. Definitely wouldn't have changed anything.
So I hear a lot. So people talk about listening to the customer, listen to the customer, but in a way, what I'm hearing from you is like listen to the customer and implement what makes sense as quickly as possible.
Exactly. As
Uh,
quickly as possible. Especially at early stages.
Is there something that surprised you, like that was like totally different from your expectations, either negative or positively in this whole process?
Probably a lot of things. I feel like I didn't knew how hard it's gonna be. I probably didn't knew how hard it's gonna be. I didn't knew how hard it's gonna get into new markets and into new regions. I mean, at first I thought, okay, hey, I have no resources and I have like this very basic product and I'm still going to be able just to land somewhere and start selling. And it didn't go my direction at first. So I had to adapt very quickly. I mean, it took me some time, but we had to adapt fairly quickly to it. So that that's probably the main thing that surprised me, and probably uh, like the growth, the amount of learning and growing that you're experiencing within a very short period of time is crazy. I mean, I'm not sure what other people who didn't start their startup are experiencing on a day to day. I mean, we feel like that we're new people every week. Every week we're like, I'm a new person. I'm smarter. I'm more experienced. I'm stronger, more built mentally wise, in order to lead a company. I mean, it's a crazy school, and you learn so much, and you have to adapt so fast, and that's surprising to this day.
So how about like, okay, give examples. Like you said, you're a new person and you're smarter, stronger, like a different person. But like, what would you say is the most important lessons that you've learned?
I mean, I'm not sure. It's like one or two thing. It's the ability to being able to handle so much stuff. I'm not sure who said that, but I have heard like a podcast from a few weeks ago that someone said that as a founder, you experience so many failures in such a short period of time. A lot of people can handle, and that's why there's a lot of anxiety. A lot of people are getting depressed. A lot of people are having panic attacks. I mean, and I totally get why. I totally get why, and I feel like a lot of people are not talking about it enough. But it's so hard. You're getting constant no's. You're getting constant people saying you won't make it. Constant people saying that you doesn't work with anything. You feel like you're stuck 60% of the time.
Yeah.
and you feel like a failure basically a lot of the time. And then you have to adapt to your team, to customers, to markets, to investors. Everyone is taking their issues with you, and you sometimes have to manage their issues and manage your own issues as well, and manage your anxiety as well, and manage you being anxious in order to succeeding as well. And your environment, probably your closest friends or your parents or your partner doesn't really get what you're doing. And a lot of the time you can definitely feel alone. Um, and you learn that you can deal with all of that. You learn that you can deal all of that, and you can still have your free time. You can still be happy. You can still be not stressed, even if things aren't going your way. You can build what you're dreaming of. It's probably going to take more patience than you thought of initially, but probably in a sense, you're just getting much more better at any aspects of life.
You'll be surprised how what you describe I hear again and again from many interpreters, both people that suffered and people that overcame, right? From both this experience. Churchill has this saying, and I'm going to embarrass myself because I don't remember the quote exactly, but he said that the secret of success is to move from one failure to the next with continual enthusiasm. Something like that. It's like that.
It's probably so accurate to startup life. It's probably that. And people outside may be thinking that, hey, you're living your best life. You must be making so much money. You have your company, it's worth a lot. You're doing great. It's actually the other way around in your experience. And you have to learn how to manage it.
I think the key difference, and this is from my perspective, is that the difference between being even a CEO, but as even a CEO, which is a very stressful job, right? A CEO, C-level, or any decision making in a company, is that you have layers of emotional fat between you and reality, right? And as the founder, you don't have it, or as one of the founders, because it's like even if you really, really care about your job and you're definitely your job, you're a step removed from a company. You're 2 steps removed from a company. You're 3 steps removed from a company. And when you're a founder, like your ego, your sense of identity, your things like that, like really get mixed up. And there's less distance between reality and you.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of friction between your self-image and your emotions and everything happening in life. I mean, again, it's a bunch of different things that you should implement in order to be able to handle all of that. But for me, what works best is probably making sure that you have the right routines as you're planning your product and you're planning your teamwork.
Like what?
And you're planning like your next round of funding. You have to plan your life. You have to plan what makes you feel good when you wake up. If you're going to be feeling better, if you're going to wake up earlier, you should do so. And you should do so on a daily basis. And you have to make that work. And you have to, I mean, for me, I like to train to do some fitness in the morning and to wake up relatively early. And then at the end of the day, 7 p.m., that's it. I'm not working anymore unless there's something very urgent or something that is crazy going on. I'm not working. My phone is on a do not disturb mode with my friends. I'm with my wife. I'm with my kid or whatever. I'm doing things that are doing good to me, and I'm separating my self-identity than the company. The company is not who I am. It's a big part of it, and it's a big part of my life, and that's good, but it's not who I am.
Yeah.
If today I had a bad day at the company, it doesn't say anything about me. I'm Yotam, and I'm a person of my own, and I have my own wishes, and I have fun going out to a movie or going out to a restaurant or hanging out with a friend or having a drink. And your time at work may have been so depressed today because he felt so bad. He didn't get the client he wanted. He had a bad day with the team, whatever. He didn't get the funding that he was supposed to close today. But it says nothing about me as a person. And you have to make that, separate between those two.
Yeah, and good for you for learning it. Like, not everybody can do it. And I'm not saying there's not times in the entrepreneur's life that you can't shut the at 7, right? But to be always 120%, always be 200% is just not sustainable. It's just like very difficult.
In my eye also, I mean, you're obviously always thinking about the company. Even if you're not working, you're thinking about it, and you're you have more processes going on in your head. But you can't be 24/7. I mean, I'm not. I don't know anyone who's going 24/7 and is super successful and is doing great thing. I mean, for me at least, it doesn't work, and I feel like for your health or of your mental state, you have to take time of your own, and also in this free time that you have or personal time that you're experiencing, you always come up with the best ideas to the company. So
Yeah,
that's
because
also a
in a
plus.
way you need the noise to go down for the ideas to go up and the
Exactly.
expectations to go up. You need to have a
Exactly.
shower moment, right? You need to have that quiet moment in
Uh,
the shower to have a shower. Yeah. So let's talk a bit about the future. So where are you guys going? Where are you going? What do you see in the future?
So we're focusing about going into new markets and being basically the number one company within those markets. So we're trying to close some huge deals at the moment. So as I mentioned, we started small and we had a lot of amazing partners going on, but now we're going after the most known worldwide brands, both in football, boxing, basketball, all of those. We want to work with the best of the best in tier two, and we want to put our name out there. So that's kind of where we're going. We're probably going to announce soon some huge new partnerships that today we're actually fighting over deals with the giants of the industry. If up until now we've been like grabbing anything that they didn't care about, today we're fighting head to head with them about the big deals, which makes me feel so proud. But that's exactly what we're going after. In 2 years, we probably want to be one of the biggest companies in the world in those markets.
So is there kind of a message? I mean, like our audience is entrepreneurs, investors, people in technology and other businesses. Is there a message you want people to hear?
Just keep fighting, never give up, surround yourself with the best people. Don't be shy to ask for help. I mean, I was surprised by how many people are willing to help.
Yes.
And it's always better to ask for someone to help who has the experience. Experience is so important of that. And we basically know nothing starting our journey. So it's always good to ask. It's always good to get like a very good opinion. And that's it. Be true to yourself and don't be shy to ask for help.
If people want to find you and like, where should they look?
LinkedIn, I'm fairly accessible, answering people all the time. I'm that requested a lot of the time that people are reaching out, sending a message. I mean, a lot of people are sending me a message. Hey, my son is using your platform a lot and he loves it. Thank you so much. All that. I'm very happy to chat on LinkedIn. Search me by name and I'll be happy to react.
Amazing. Yotam, it was a pleasure. Really, really fun.
Same here. Thank you so much, Haggai.
Thank you. And keep on kicking ass.
I'll do so. Thank you so much.
It's a wrap. This Haggai podcast episode ends here, but you don't. Now, is it crazy to think that you know somebody who'd love this episode? Share it with them, and they'll love you for it.